Welcome to this week's digital presentation. It's a great masterful meaning project that will be presented today. We will have Branne Lind and Ragnhild Bodsberg tell us about their findings and reflection from the work with Norwegian Refugee Council, NRC. Branne and Ragnhild were together with their EVP mentor, Nelly, in Uganda in this February. They carried out field work there. And they were looking into digital transformation in the humanitarian sector. I will not say anything more about that. Branne and Ragnhild will do that. But before that, I'm very happy to say that we have Marte Beate Bordi Olsen from NRC to give us a little bit background of this very, very interesting project. The floor is yours, Marte.
Thank you, Heidi. Hi, everyone. My name is Marte, Strategy and Operations Advisor in NRC, joined today by Geir Olav, Deputy Secretary General and CFO in NRC, here at head office in Oslo. So I'll just say 2 words about the background for our collaboration with the students. But for those of you who are not familiar with NRC, we are an independent humanitarian organization working with people forced to flee. In 2024, we worked with just over 9 million people across 40 countries. And we do so by focusing on protection, shelter, education, and much more. So digital transformation is anchored in our global strategy for 2022 to 2026. And for us, it's really about 3 things. It's not only using digital technology to sort of expand our reach and impact for the people that we work with, but it's also about making our own work more efficient, as well as enabling better decision-making by the use of data. When it comes to digital community hubs, we have several NRC colleagues online that know more about this, and Ragnhild and Branne will elaborate a bit more. But perhaps just to say 2 words on DCH. It evolved early in the pandemic based on sort of an identified need for finding new ways of communicating with communities. So what it really does is to facilitate engagement between humanitarian actors and communities over mobile phones. And examples of services that we're able to provide using DCH is everything from helplines, cash transfer, feedback mechanisms, etc. So in many ways, we've seen that DCH is really accelerating ways of delivering humanitarian aid as well. But before I hand over to Ragnhild and Branne, just want to take a moment to extend our appreciation for the work that they've done and for our collaboration over the past year or so. I think collaborations like these are very useful for us to not only take stock, but learn, but also improve and influence our work as well. So a big thank you for the work that you've done. And I'll hand over to Branne and Ragnhild.
And I will just say thank you, Marte, for this. And I would also like to say to everybody that questions and comments are most welcome. And we have put aside some minutes after the presentation to do that. So with that said, Branne and Ragnhild, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Maybe, do you want to share the screen, Branne?
Yes, I can do that. Is it visible?
Yes.
Great.
I think it's good. Okay, so maybe we should just start. As you see, my name is Ragnhild, and with me I have Branne, and we completed our master's degree in Industrial Economics and Technology Management at NTNU in Trondheim this spring. In our studies, we specialized in computer science and AI as our technical focus, and our main profile was strategy and change management, which we also wrote our thesis in. So last year, we were lucky to be part of the Meaningful Masters program with Engineers Without Borders, together with our partner, NRC. And that was a very great experience for us, and we are therefore very excited to share a bit more about our work with you today. Can you change the slide, Plani? Okay, so a little bit about how and why we ended up writing Meaningful Masters. Already back in 2022, which is 2 years before we even started our final year, we decided to apply for the program. And what inspired us was the idea of using our masters to create real impact within a sector that we truly care about. So as part of the program, we needed to find a humanitarian organization to collaborate with. So we started that process pretty early on and reached out to several organizations. And we were mainly looking for organizations that could give us the chance to work in the intersection between technology and change management. But at the same time, we were open to a broad range of topics as long as they were relevant to our profile within change management. So with these preferences, NRC stood out to us because of their proactive and forward-thinking digital strategy with lots of ongoing initiatives and technology implementations, which Marte already have touched upon. And for us, that was super exciting. So we reached out to NRC and Geir Olav, who fortunately were interested in collaborating with us. So together, we spent quite a lot of time figuring out what kind of study could bring real impact and value to NRC. And in the end, we chose to focus on DCH, which Marte already talked about. But in short, it's a participant-facing digital tool used by project participants to engage with NRC digitally on different matters. And with project participants, we mean displacement-affected people using NRC services. So our original plan was to do a comparative case study on DCH, looking at the implementation in both Uganda and Colombia, and was fortunate enough to write a project thesis last autumn to kickstart, prepare, and get a comprehensive theoretical foundation before doing our master's the following semester. And we had planned 2 field trips to those locations, one to Bogota in Colombia and one to Kampala in Uganda this past February. But however, just a few days before our Colombia trip, we had to cancel due to Trump's USAID funding cuts, which heavily affected the humanitarian operations in Colombia and naturally hindered us in visiting and conducting that field trip. So that forced us to pivot our study very quickly, and we decided to carry out a single and in-depth case study of DCH in Uganda instead. Yes, so can you move to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So our case ended up being an exploration of the DCH implementation in Uganda. And when DCH came to Uganda, it kind of replaced more traditional ways of communicating with project participants. Previously, the communication happened through physical meetings in the communities or by people showing up at the NRC's offices and less over phones and digital communication channels. So when the pandemic broke out in 2020, it kind of acted like a catalyst for developing more digital communication channels in the humanitarian sector. And DCH was therefore developed very quickly, combining channels like SMS, WhatsApp, USSD, phone calls, and others, and was rolled out to various countries that NRC operate in. And DCH can also keep track of each participant's history and interactions with some of the NRC's services. So in other words, DCH became a tool to manage and keep an overview of NRC's engagement with participants. So in many ways, DCH was an innovation in how to communicate and engage with project participants, which is very impactful as one can reach very many more people by using DCH than doing it in a traditional way. So before we went to Uganda, we were told that NRC in Uganda didn't just adopt DCH when they got it, they actually managed to use it in an even more successful way than expected. So in a sense, we almost got the impression that they had found their own ways of using this stage, which had proven very successful. So our initial problem statement before visiting Uganda was, why is DCH implemented successfully in some country offices, such as Uganda, while others struggle, and what can NRC learn from that? So yeah, we went to Uganda in the end of February this year with an open mind, trying to understand this DCH success story.
Yes, so I just wanted to show you the project timeline a bit more at the overhead level. So a bit repetition, but we contacted Engineers Without Borders already in November 23 to just confirm that we wanted to work with them. And then April last year, we partnered with NRC, which was our dream project. So we're very happy about that. And then we started our project thesis. And as Ragnhild said, this was like the theoretical background for the master thesis for the upcoming semester. So this laid the groundwork for the way we wanted to work during the spring. And when 2025 came, we had set out February for field trip month. So January and the start of February was used to prepare for these field trips. And we had 1 week in Uganda, so it was very important to plan it accordingly. We wanted to be effective and we wanted to speak to as many people and the most relevant people as possible. So when we got there in February, we spoke to these people and tried to just get a comprehensive understanding of how they worked with DCH. And then March, April, and May and June was used to combine these insights, keep having digital interviews, and trying to understand what really was the case here and the underlying reasons for the use of DCH in NRC Uganda. So a very, very exciting spring for us. And in June, we graduated with our masters, and happy about that. So a little bit more about the field trip, which was maybe the most exciting part of the whole masters. The reason for doing this field trip was to understand more about DCH in practice. It's easy to learn about it from the head office in Oslo, and it's easy to read about it, but we don't necessarily get to understand the real reasons for using it and how it is in practice. So when we first got there, we interviewed technical staff and leaders and other key roles across the Ugandan office, just to understand more of how it works in that context. And we also were lucky enough to observe at 2 field offices and digital centers around in Kampala, and got insights from the field staff. So the difference here is that at the headquarters in Uganda, we talk to the leadership roles at the Ugandan office, but at the field offices and digital centers, we talk to the people who worked closest to the project participants, and we even got the chance to talk to some of the project participants, for instance, at the digital center, where they had the chance to do their homework or do something to apply for jobs, have courses and stuff like that. So we learned very directly how DCH had helped them, which was very enlightening for us. So we have 4 key reflections we want to take out from our field trip. First of all, we experienced a really innovative and open culture at NRC Uganda, which was so great for us because we came like 2 students and 1 mentor who really didn't know quite what we were doing and a bit nervous. And when we arrived there and people were so open to share their thoughts and ideas and welcomed us and made us a part of the office in just a week, it was really, it made us a bit more comfortable, and that was great. And it was very inspiring to meet people who are genuinely passionate about technology, because we are a bit technology freaks coming from NTNU, and just seeing these people who just thought about it the same way as we did was very, very cool. We were also surprised by the level of ownership they had of DCH. I feel like when you think about a technology which is developed at a head office level, other side of the country, it's developed in Oslo, you might think that that's where it ends. But here we saw the opposite. People in Uganda were working on it like it was their own and like they had developed it from scratch. They were not just using it, they were actually trying to improve it and innovate around it. And it was cool to hear personal stories about how they did it and why they did it. So very, very interesting. And as I said in the beginning, it was very eye-opening to see how it works in practice, because it's not just a technology, it's actually a way of help. It's a way of helping people who need quick access to money or medicine or information And that's what DCH actually can do. So it was great to see that the end users really need this and really get effects of the tool, which made us feel like what we were working with was really rewarding as well. So very thankful for this field trip and what it gave us. And a short brief of how a typical day could look like. We were there for 1 week, so it was pretty packed. And the morning could start with some sort of demo from the colleagues or from the staff at NRC Uganda. I call them colleagues because they feel so close now, but the staff. And we saw the system in practice, and we got some demos of, for instance, they showed us how they would do a cash distribution from DCH, and then we could watch them do it and look at how it was done at the headquarter level. And then at midday, we had some hours at the field office, and then we could talk to field staff and talk to project participants and learn more about it in the context and in the daily use. And then we went back to the headquarters and interviewed with key roles in Uganda, maybe someone from the leadership team, to get their strategic thinking and how they found technology or DCH as a part of their country strategy. And then, pretty tired after a long day, we would have dinner and explore Kampala. It's such a cool city, and it's a big city and a lot of people and a lot of chaos. So we had to explore a bit too. So that was also very fun. And at every night, we had a daily wrap up to summarize and reflect on insights, because we thought it was nice to have like a little pause in between before we just gathered our thoughts and prepared for the next day and the interviews to come there. So that was a typical day for us.
Yes, so as Brani said, we observed a very innovative and proactive response to DCH among the employees in Uganda. And based on our literature review, we chose to label this response as an entrepreneurial response. And this concept means that employees respond to change in a proactive way. They adapt, add new aspects, or even create new elements when facing a change. So in other words, they act like entrepreneurs that embrace the opportunities that a change brings. So after our field trip, this concept quickly became like the backbone of our work, and we refined our problem statement to be: what constitutes NRC Uganda's entrepreneurial response to DCH, and how can this response be explained? So our research therefore ended up being twofold. First, we wanted to understand what this entrepreneurial response actually consists of, meaning the specific behaviors and activities that make it entrepreneurial rather than just a regular response. And second, to understand why this response happens, in other words, why it emerged in the Ugandan country office in particular. So by analyzing all our data, including interviews, observations, document analysis, and meetings, we created a data structure that captured the different components of the response, which you can see on the left side of the slide. And in short, we found that the entrepreneurial response in Uganda consists of 3 main elements. First, NRC Uganda uses DCH to improve existing services by handling and streamlining communication in areas like education, legal services, and other programs that they offer. Second, NRC Uganda uses DCH to create entirely new services, such as initiatives that help young people contribute to their host communities or even start their own small businesses. And lastly, NRC Uganda has added to DCH itself by helping the global DCH team in Norway develop new features, such as a chatbot in WhatsApp. And then we also identified why NRC Uganda has been able to respond entrepreneurially to DCH, which maybe is the most exciting part of the research. And these reasons are firstly that we found them to have a very active and collaborative relationship with the DCH team in Norway. Another reason we found is that the context in NRC Uganda operates in, with the phone adoption relatively high and no active conflicts, and they also have a leadership team that is very pro-technology and innovation. And on top of that, NRC Uganda actually has a dedicated DCH focal person who works with both DCH but also digital innovation in general, which is a quite unique role for a country office in NRC to have. And finally, we also found that some of the features of DCH itself make it easier to respond entrepreneurially too, including that DCH is aligned with NRC's strategic direction. It is highly customizable, and the tool has room for interpretation and thus welcomes various ways of adopting and using it. Yes.
Yes. And what we saw was that all of these reasons for NRC Uganda's entrepreneurial response, they weren't standalone at all. They were always, many of them were dependent on each other, and there were some sort of relation between them. And this was something we really wanted to sort out. So we took the analysis to another level where we wanted to compare them and put them in relation to each other. So that's what you can see on the left side here. So this is what this was the final model of our thesis. And here you can see the different reasons for NRC Uganda's entrepreneurial response and their relationships to each other. And as you may notice, there are some color coding here, because one of the most important things with this thesis, or the most important outcome we wanted it to have, was to help NRC in general to be able to use these insights to create these sorts of innovative thinking and entrepreneurial thinking around DCH in other country offices as well. So in short terms, to learn from NRC Uganda and use these knowledges other places. So a very important part of this is to understand what is transferable and what is not transferable. And that's essentially what these color codings are showing. So you can see the red ones. These are the reasons for NRC Uganda's entrepreneurial response, which may not be transferable at all. An example of this would be the local environment. These are so different in all the countries NRC operates in and would not be possible to move to someplace else. But then you can look at the yellow ones, which are the ones that are partly transferable, but won't be that easy to do just by NRC headquarters in Oslo to just have some regulations and change something. It would need more than that. And then you have the green ones, which we recommend to focus on in the coming times. These are reasons for the entrepreneurial response, which NRC at the headquarters in Oslo actually can work on and impact. So these 5 green boxes, along with the rest of the insights, were summarized into 5 main recommendations from us, from our work. And I can take you quickly through them. So the first one is that we recommend NRC to actively build the head office and country office relationship. And we understand that this can be difficult because NRC operates in so many countries and there's so many country offices, but we see that this active relationship have had a great impact on how DCH is used and the ownership it has shown in NRC Uganda. And then we would also recommend to formalize the digital and innovation coordinator role, because this has shown to be a very important role in the DCH innovation bit in NRC Uganda. It makes it more concretized. It's a person who have this responsibility. It's just not something that falls between 2 roles or 3 roles, and it makes it easier to work around it. We also recommend to promote DCH's strategic fit and flexibility. And this might be a quite easy win to have, because DCH is already strategically fitting and flexible. It's all about communicating it and focusing on it and talking about it, because knowing that it actually can lead to a bigger strategic jump is something that maybe every country office won't think about. But when they do, maybe they will focus even more on it. And it's a bit tightly coupled with the next one, point 4, to create and share success stories, because The story in NRC Uganda, as we see it, is very powerful. It shows something that has worked so great, and it's something that others can be inspired by as well. And we think that it's important to talk about it and to share these success stories. And we know that NRC already have this kind of sharing of success stories, and this is something that can be put in practice in this kind of sharing. And last of all, something difficult but also important is to tailor implementation and expectations to the country office you want to improve the use of TCH in. We can't hide the fact that every country office is different. They work in different contexts, and it's not just something you can transfer without thinking about. So, for instance, if there's weak infrastructure in the country, that's something you need to work around. And that also probably means you need to tailor expectations. So don't take anything for a loss. That's essentially what we're trying to say with the 5th point. And that's the 5 recommendations we have. Very short and sweet. Maybe not that short, but at least sweet. So we just really want to thank you for your time and for listening, and we're very open for questions. And again, we want to extend our gratitude to both Engineers Without Borders for facilitating this partnership, and of course NRC and everyone who's in this call right now. It's so fun to see you again. And also to Anthony and our supervisor, who's it's also fun to see here today. Because it has been so great working with this, and we're very grateful. And yeah, it's you people who have made this so fun and rewarding for us.
Thank you, Branne and Ragnhild. I also forward the big congratulations from our project manager and responsible for Masterful Meaning program, Elise Skattum. She couldn't be here today because she could have also taken some more reflection from the EVB side. But now we will open for questions, like Branne and Ragnhild said, and or comments. To this great work, and that you just do by raising your hand or just unmute yourself. And while you're, 2 hands, great, Pietro.
Thank you, and congratulations on completing your thesis. Well done.
Thank you.
We corresponded a few times. I was always somebody you had to chase up, so well done for doing that too. Maybe a couple of questions, or one question. Sustainability of these applications, especially in the context of shrinking funding from the international donors that NRC depends on. Did you look at costs, and did you look at, did you do any analysis on the cost and the cost benefit, and how a country like Uganda, which is not one of our biggest, looks at this, or obviously they value the application, but were there concerns about the costs?
I can start a bit if you want to fill in later, Ragnhild. We didn't have any cost benefit analysis on it or any quantitative measures. But one thing I thought of was the fact that many people talked about how effective DCH was when we talked to them in NRC Uganda. So in those terms, I would think that, for instance, using this technology to reach out to these people instead of sending physical people out to the villages, like one of the people we interviewed said, you can't go out there to the villages with a box of money and distribute these money bills to people, because it takes too much time and it's dangerous. So in terms of that, I would think that it's a benefit there from the economic or financial side as well, because it just makes things quicker. It depends on less human resources. So I don't know if it answered your question, or if you want to fill in, Ragnhild, but that's what I immediately thought.
Yeah, I think just the most important part is that we are our research was just qualitative, and we didn't do any like financial analysis or anything like that. But it would be interesting to have a look at that as well. Yeah,
maybe for our PhD.
Yeah, thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Yes, Marte.
Yeah, so hi Ragnhild and Brandy, good to see you, and congratulations on your masters. It's great that you sort of passed that hurdle, and I look forward to the PhD, Brandy. That is great. I don't really have a question, so just really congratulations. And I was interested in your recommendations. And good that there were only 5. And I think many of our country offices will thank you for recommending a digital transformation resource in the country office. I haven't read your thesis, but did you make any recommendations or reflections around sort of the profile of that? You make a statement about it being outside of the ICT function. Do you have any sort of reflections on why, and if so, where you'd put it, and what kind of role that would be?
Do you want to start, or should I start, Ragnhild?
You can start if you want to.
Yeah, because as you said, Geir Olav, it's I think it's important that it's not in an ICT role, because once you get a technical role, you get so focused on the technical bit and you forget the innovation bit, and that's just like very universal. I think that when your focus is on just making things work, like an ICT role, you don't have the time to reflect on the bigger picture, or maybe you don't have time to reflect on more than 1 week ahead or 1 month ahead. So where to put it, I'm not too sure, but not in the ICT role. And I know that the way it works in NRC Uganda has been nice, and I think it's in the programs. Someone needs to correct me if I'm wrong. But then you can work very tight to the program's staff, who are the ones who are actually doing the work towards the project participants. So it's easier to see what the user needs are rather than the technical needs. It's so easy to just develop some technical stuff, and then nobody needs it and nobody wants it. So I think it's close to sit close to the people who are going to use the technology.
Oh, great. Thanks, Brandy. Any wisdom from Microsoft on this, Ragnhild?
What did you say?
Any wisdom from Microsoft on this?
I wish so. Probably, but yeah. But I think it's important what Brandy is saying, that what we observed was that it was one DCH responsible that was also responsible for innovation, as we have talked about. But there were also another role that was more focused on innovation and less on the digital part, and they worked quite a lot together. So I think also that was a good like collaboration and dynamic to have in a country office, or at least that was my perception. I'm not, I don't know if you agree, Brandy, or.
I agree.
Yeah, so it was not like a traditional ICT role, or those roles were not. I think they have another role that is ICT, but they were separate. So yeah, I think that's a very important finding.
Thanks.
Anand, please go ahead with the question.
I assume that's what you said while it was muted. Congrats once again. You've done it. You can relax a bit now. I was wondering if you had the chance to look at the Colombian implementation, at least remotely, even if you weren't able to go there, and see any comparisons between the two. And my second question is actually related to that. You mentioned about customization at the country level, but since your specialization is a bit of economics as well. Have you thought about customization versus standardization? Which option should we consider, because it scales differently?
Mm-hmm. So we were not able to have any look at the Colombian office. Unfortunately, it would be very interesting, but we didn't. On the standardization versus customization, I think or at least my personal reflection is that you're moving in the right direction towards a standardization path that allows the country offices to customize it depending on their needs, or to turn off or toggle the functionalities. I think that's at least that's my personal opinion. That's a good one. Yeah, good way to go, or yeah, the right direction. Because we saw that in Uganda they customized it based on what they could use and what they saw beneficial for their needs. So it's standardized but also customizable, and I think it's a good mix as it is right now.
I agree on what Ragnhild is saying, that sometimes it's also about the feeling of collaborating and the feeling of customizing, which gives ownership. But of course, it's not very sustainable to do everything from scratch. So I very much agree with what Ragnhild said. And also just wanted to add on the bit with the comparative study that we chose to not go for a comparative study with Colombia digitally, mostly for methodological reasons, that it would be kind of like a bias in the study from a theoretical perspective, when you have some data which is very physical and some data which is a bit set apart. So I think we could have done a comparative study if we wanted to, and Colombia was very open for it, as I understood. They seemed very eager when we talked to them the first time. So that was a choice we made. And I'm happy we made that choice because it gave us full focus on NRC Uganda.
Yeah, I agree. It was difficult to do everything. Maybe another thing to add to your PhD list.
I will add it.
Thanks, though.
I just have a question myself. It's because it's a lot of people involved in this to do this research, but you also have, since it's a meaningful master project, it's you have had along a mentor, and I know that I can see that Nelly, I know that Nelly is here, so actually it's a question to you both, but maybe for all the three of you, but maybe first Nelly, if you could say a little bit about how it is to come from the area of working and following these students in preparation and also into the field.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So I work at the Norwegian Geotechnical Institute, so it's a little bit different focus in our everyday work. But I joined as the mentor because I've been working in some research projects with research interviews. So this methodology was quite transferable to the methodology that Rani and Ragnhild wanted to use in Uganda. So I joined mostly for this, and I thought firstly it's very interesting for me. You learn a lot. You have something to teach, but you also have a lot to learn. So I thought it's important to keep an open mind and to be open to new experiences. And it's quite different from normal job, just because you have to be very flexible, and it's not from 8 until 4. It's as you saw from his example day, it's from 8 until 10 in the evening. But I thought it was very fun, and it's very rewarding, I would say, to work on such a project where you can see the impacts more directly than in your everyday if you just write a report that someone will read in the far distance. So yeah, those are some of my reflections. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just add that it was really great to have a mentor. I think I can speak for both me and Ragnhild when I say that it was so helpful when we were out in the fields, and it was not something we had so much experience on. We haven't had so much interviews in the field in Uganda before. Neither have Nelly, but she had at least some insights and reflections we could draw upon. And also very nice, like in the evening sessions where we had to just wrap everything around and draw some insights out of everything we had observed and heard. It was very good to have someone to do this with. And also nice for the aftermath of the field trip to have someone who can read through and help and another perspective. So very grateful for that as well.
Yeah, I can also add that I think Branni and Ragnhild are easy students to mentor. So I'm good to travel with. Yeah.
All this is so good to hear. I don't know if there are any more questions or comments. We have time for that. Oh, yes.
No, I'm not going to take more time, but I was just interested. So Ragnhild, I met you in Microsoft this summer. That was great. But Ragnhild and Branni, where are you now? What has the master degree led you to in your next chapter?
You can start, Ragnhild.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not in Microsoft anymore. I am in Deloitte in the strategy department. It's named Monitor Deloitte. So I work quite a lot on change management on my project right now. So yeah.
Great.
And I'm in Sprint Consulting now. So I've been working there part-time for 2 years. So I was working there part-time during the masters as well. But now I'm fully focused on this, not like 5 balls in the air at the same time. So yeah, I'm working mostly with innovation and strategy. So now right now I'm working with an AI and innovation project. So I'm not getting rid of this technology innovation bit. It's just like hunting me. So yeah, very happy about that.
Very good, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Talking about change or things, so we might also say that this. What did I say this about change? I'm sorry. But I wanted to say that the master thesis that was presented now will, of course, come on our EVB web pages very soon. And the change I was thinking about is that we are changing week soon. And next week, it's another digital presentation. And Alan, my good friend and colleague here, he just put it out in the chat, and you're most welcome. That's a presentation of electrifying health clinics in Tanzania. So it's another part, but it's actually also a masterful meaning project. So you're all most welcome there. If there are no other, I'm speaking very slowly now, last comments or whatever, me at least, I will go to this emoji thing and give a big hand for the presentation and for the good cooperation, all of the organizations together. And thanks for joining today, and good luck with all the great work. And it's true that the digital times are here also in the humanitarian sector. So NRC going forward in this direction and supported by master students and like projects like that is just great. So with those words, thanks for joining and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.